All right, so we'll start today in Shavasana. So on our backs, or really whatever Shavasana position feels good for you today, but maybe having a pillow or a blanket resting under your neck as we settle in for our slow and slow stretch today. And so once you've found a comfortable position, just consciously letting your body relax. This might be the first time you've gotten a chance to stop today. But just enjoying being still. Taking a quick inventory, head to toe, just letting all your muscles soften, relax. Feeling the support of the ground underneath you. You may want to close your eyes if they're not already there. And close your mouth so that you're breathing only through your nose. And maybe you notice that the air coming in through your nose is cooler than the air going out. Continuing the focus on your breath without too much effort. Just begin counting your inhales and exhales. It doesn't matter what the number is. Just counting as you inhale and then counting as you exhale. And again, without forcing anything, slowly see if you can extend your exhale just a count or two longer than the inhale. If you're inhaling on a count of 4, maybe exhaling to 5 or 6. I've said it before, but extending the exhale is a great way to just bring yourself kind of an instant sense of calm. Calming the central nervous system and just allowing your body to relax. So anytime throughout your life, if you're feeling that fight or flight response start to kick in, you can always try a breathing practice like this, bringing yourself back into the present. Letting go of the counting wherever you are. In the beginning, maybe make some gentle movements with your fingers and your toes, bringing your awareness back into the space around you, and letting your eyes come open if they've closed. And we're going to stay right here on our backs for our first pose. This is one of my favorites, banana. So extending the arms up above your head. Grab the left wrist with the right hand, and then gently begin to pull the left arm over towards the right side of your mat, making kind of the top half of your banana. And then with your feet, walking them towards the bottom right corner of your mat. And you can stay here, or you can experiment with crossing one foot over the other. Maybe one foot feels better than the other. And we'll rest here in this nice full body stretch. So even though we're focusing on our hips in this practice, so you can feel the stretch on your hip flexor, the outside of your hip. But we're also stretching pretty much our entire body. As we always do, maybe taking a moment just to do a quick scan. Notice if you're feeling any tension or sensation. Maybe you're clenching one of your muscles. Just seeing what would happen if you relax. Breathing in and out. Maybe directing your breath to those areas of tension or sensation. Then we'll begin to release, uncrossing the feet if they're crossed, walking the feet back to center, releasing the hands. Then we'll switch sides. So this time, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand, pulling the right arm to the left, and then finding the bottom half of your banana by walking the feet over to the bottom left corner. Taking stock of how it feels on this side, maybe crossing one foot over the other. Relaxing into this full body stretch. Your mind may wander throughout this practice, since we're holding these poses for between 3 and 5 minutes. Totally normal to be distracted by your thoughts. And as you notice that happening, just observe the thoughts as they come. And gently bring your focus back to the breath. In and out through the nose. And we'll be here for about 1 more minute. And slowly release the hands and feet back to center. Just hugging the knees into your chest for a minute. Maybe rocking back and forth, rolling out the spine. And when you're ready, we'll make our way up to a seated position. So maybe just rolling up or getting there however works best for you. And we'll move into a little half butterfly and deer sequence. So we'll bring the right foot in and extend the left foot out. So this is kind of either a half straddle or half butterfly, depending on your preference. So just however wide you want to open that left leg is totally up to you and how your body's feeling today. You may want to sit up on a cushion. May help take some pressure off the low back by tilting the pelvis forward a little bit. And when you found your position, you can stay here, or you can fold forward, either straight forward or over the left leg. So just feeling what feels right. Folding over the leg will give you a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. And just letting yourself hinge forward from the hips. If it's comfortable, you can round the neck forward. But if you have neck and back issues, you may want to keep it in more of a neutral position. You may notice as you relax into this stretch that as we hold, maybe you find yourself sinking a little deeper. Maybe it gets to be a little bit too much and you need to back off a little. And just constantly checking in with the body and how it's feeling. Gently begin to walk back to an upright position. And now taking your left leg, the leg that's extended, I'm just going to swing it back behind you. And this is our deer position. So the traditional is a 90-90 degree angle. So the front knee finding a 90-degree angle and the back knee as well. But if you have knee issues, hip issues, you can experiment with the position of your foot. Bringing it closer to the body will be a little bit less intense. And again, you can have that cushion shoved under the hips. A little bit more support. And you can stay just seated upright, facing forward. Or if you'd like to join me in a little twist of bringing the left hand to the right knee, lengthening through the spine and just gently twisting over that front leg. This is a neat little pose for a hip sequence because we've got external rotation with the front hip and then internal rotation of the back, all at the same time. And if you like, you can stay twisted or stay seated upright. Or if you'd like to begin to fold forward over the front knee. Just seeing whichever position feels best for you. Sometimes that's different day to day or moment to moment. And if you're folded forward, gently walking yourself back up, releasing the legs, and maybe taking just a minute for a little counter pose, leaning back into the hands and just windshield wipering the legs. One direction and the other. And we'll repeat that sequence on the opposite side. So this time, bringing the left foot in and extending the right leg out. Sitting up on the cushion if that feels right. And then whatever option you took for the fold, either over the leg or folding forward, I recommend doing the same thing on this side, just so you're not crooked. And gently folding forward and finding that just right position, that balance between sensation And again, you might notice, I definitely notice one side feels a lot different from the other. So your fold might not be as deep, or it might be deeper. I'm just taking a quick check, noticing if you're holding any tension. We tend to carry a lot of tension in the muscles of our face, our jaw, neck, and shoulders. Letting everything relax. And slowly, gently use your hands to press yourself back upright. And we'll move into our deer on this side now. So sliding the right foot behind you this time and experimenting with the position of your legs and feet to find what's going to work best for your body right now. And once again, finding your options. And I recommend if you took certain options last time, to take those same ones on this side. So maybe bringing opposite hand to the front knee, finding a gentle twist. Just breathing here, feeling the breath move through your body. And if you choose, maybe untwisting and beginning to fold over the front leg. And slowly, gently releasing back up to center, releasing the legs, and maybe doing that windshield wiper motion again, leaning back into the hands. And when you're ready, we'll meet in all fours, finding a tabletop position. So maybe grabbing a blanket or pad for your knees if you have knee issues like I do. And we're going to prepare for a dragon sequence. So just to loosen up our hips a little bit before we begin, we'll take about 4 rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, beginning to arch through the spine, opening the chest and lifting the gaze. And exhale, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling, bringing the chin to the chest. And do that about 3 more times, just letting your own breath be your guide. And once you've finished, returning back to a neutral spine. And from here, just begin to make some gentle circles with your hips, or maybe a figure 8 motion, just finding a movement that feels good for you. Just beginning to loosen up these hips before this next series of poses. If you were circling in one direction, maybe going back in the other direction. Well, we can come into this dragon series either from right here in tabletop, or if you'd like to join me in a downward facing dog, that's also an option, pressing up. Drawing the heels towards the mat, stretching through the shoulders and spine. Wherever you are, either down dog or tabletop, slightly lift the right leg and then step it in between your hands, finding dragon flying low, or also a low lunge. And so you want to hug your back knee, kind of shuffle it backwards a little bit so that the weight is down in the hips. And feeling it in that back hip flexor. Now, if it's not comfortable to have your hands on the ground, you can always have them up on blocks. And if you feel that you need a break at any time during this series, it does get a little intense, so definitely do what you need to do. So from our dragon flying low, we'll move into a dragon flying high. Again, this is all optional. But if you choose, just bringing one hand and then the other up onto your right knee so that you're seated upright, maybe even with a little bit of a slight arch in your back. And we'll just be here for about 1 minute in this position. Using the breath again to direct towards any areas of sensation. And now bringing the hands back down. And taking just a moment to rock backwards onto the left, sitting back towards the left knee. And just rocking back and forth a little bit before we move into our next posture. So finding yourself back in this low lunge position. And we'll bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. And you may want to walk the foot out towards the edge of your mat. And you can stay here. Hands can also be on blocks. If it feels good, you can also come down onto your forearms and maybe open the hip, finding a winged dragon. Just rolled on the outside, the blade of the right foot, opening up the hip. These dragon poses stimulate the meridian in our body that's associated with the emotion of anger. So you may feel a little bit grouchy in this pose. That's totally normal. But it's also a good exercise in learning to sit with our anger and kind of feelings that are more uncomfortable. So releasing the leg, pressing back up into the hand. We'll either find a down dog or tabletop. So if you'd like to press back up into a down dog, tucking the toes of the left foot, maybe walking your dog a little bit, stretching out the hamstrings. And meeting back in tabletop. And then we'll sink back into child's pose for a few breaths. Giving ourselves a nice break before we move into our dragon sequence on the opposite side. From child's pose, pressing back up into tabletop. And then either staying here or tucking the toes and finding downward facing dog once again. This time, we'll lift the left leg and then place it between the hands, so finding that low lunge. Bringing in your props. Again, this is a pose where I really notice a difference between my two sides. It's not anything that's right or wrong, or nothing to judge, just something to notice. And so from here, maybe bringing the hands to rest on the front knee, flying high in your dragon. You'll notice while we're kind of in the same leg position, we're not holding any one of these as long as we hold some of the yin postures. It is a very intense kind of pose. And then releasing the hands, and then just rocking back and forth a few times. Now coming back into our low lunge, we'll be moving aside your prop. And we'll bring the hands to the inside of the left foot this time. And then maybe walking the left foot out towards the edge of your mat. And finding your options here. So maybe coming down onto the forearms, rolling onto the outside of the left foot, giving your dragon its wing. And just noticing how you feel. Maybe you do feel a little bit grouchy in this challenging pose. And that's totally okay. We're just going to sit here with it. And very gently finding release from this pose, rolling your foot back up. Maybe finding your downward facing dog or tabletop. Maybe taking a moment here to walk the dog, shifting the weight from one side to the other. And then we'll meet in tabletop and sink back into child's pose. And in this child's pose, your knees can be as wide or close together as you want. If your wrists are feeling a little sore after that series, you can bring the hands down by your sides. That may feel better. And just allowing yourself to totally relax. And when you're ready, pressing back up through seated. We're not going to stay here for very long. We're going to come back onto our backs, finding a constructive rest pose. So resting back on your back, the knees bent, the feet on the floor. Once again, maybe finding your blanket or pillow to go under your head. And we're going to do a reclined pigeon. Continue stretching out the hips. So from this constructive rest pose, we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee. And you can stay right here. You may even use your hands to help open the right knee a little bit. And if you'd like a little bit more, you can thread the needle between your legs with your hands, clasping your hands behind the left leg. And then gently drawing the left leg towards you. And you can let your foot be neutral, not flexed or pointed. Just relaxing and feeling that stretch along the back of your hip. Maybe just about 1 more minute here. And gently begin to release your hands. Release the left foot back onto the floor. And then release the right foot. Maybe taking again windshield wiper motions. Letting your knees drop from one side to the other. And we'll switch sides. So this time crossing the left foot over the right leg. And taking your options. Keeping the right foot on the ground or threading the needle and drawing the legs back towards your body. Just letting gravity do all the work here. I often call what we're doing in a yin class stretching. And of course, it is stretching. That's literally what we're doing. But in addition to that, and maybe more importantly, we're putting stress, positive stress, on the connective tissues that surround our bones and muscles and joints, also known as the fascia. By putting this positive stress on these tissues, we elongate them, helps us increase mobility and joint health. So it's not just stretching. And when you're ready, releasing the hands, releasing right leg, and then the left leg down to the floor. And now maybe hug both knees into the chest again. Maybe rocking from side to side or making circles with the knees. And we'll do just a couple of twists before we have our final Shavasana. So keeping the left knee hugged into your chest, extend the right leg back out onto the mat. And using the right hand to grab the left leg. Extending the left arm out to a T beside you. Gently begin to draw the left leg across your body, twisting to the right. You can keep the leg bent, or maybe grabbing your big toe, pulling the leg straight, getting a little more engagement in the hamstring. And noticing again, are you carrying any tension, clenching any muscles? Can you relax a little bit more? And gently drawing the left knee back and untwisting. And letting the left leg extend on the mat, recentering the hips. And we'll switch sides, drawing the right knee in, bending the left arm out to the side, and then gently drawing the right leg across, twisting to the left. Melting that right shoulder towards the floor. Keeping the knee bent or straightening it. Letting your gaze, your head and neck be wherever's comfortable. For me today, that's just straight up at the ceiling, but you may want to look over one shoulder or the other. And gently begin to untwist, drawing the leg back in, and then extending it straight out onto the mat. You may want to take a few seconds and take any last movements that you'd like before we move into our final Shavasana, our final resting pose. Just getting out any last wiggles before we find stillness. And finding your final resting position, whatever that is for you today. And once you're there, letting your body relax into the support of your mat, the support of the earth. Let your eyes soften or close. Bring the focus back to the breath, to the air coming in and out through your nose. Slowly begin to scan your body, starting with the toes and the feet. Allow your feet to relax, feeling them become heavy on the floor. Move your awareness up into the ankles, and your calves, and your shins. Feel them melting into the earth. Lower legs relax. Feel the space behind the knee joint. Moving the awareness slowly higher. Relaxing through the thighs. And then soften and become heavy. Notice your buttocks, hips, and groin relaxing into the floor. Did a lot of work on the hips this afternoon. Notice maybe a sense of openness, flow of energy through this part of your body. Now bringing your awareness up through the tailbone, feeling the sacrum and low back releasing towards the floor. Relax your low back. Relax your abdominal muscles. Follow your awareness up spine, feeling the spaces between each vertebra. Allow your upper back and shoulders to soften. Relax your chest, all the muscles between the ribs. Your shoulders release completely, feeling the weight sinking down into the mat. Allow the softness to flow down your arms, into your fingers, relaxing all the way down through the arms. Let your mind travel up into your neck, releasing any tension there. Relax your jaw, lips, tongue, your cheeks, and all the muscles around your eyes and in your face. Relax through the forehead and the crown of your head. Allow your head to rest heavily on the floor. Bringing your attention into your mind. As if you're observing the state of your emotions from the outside in. Looking at whatever you're feeling, a kind eye, knowing it's okay. enjoying the next few moments of complete silence and peace. Gently deepen your breath. You're taking a couple of deep, full body breaths. Begin to invite some movement throughout your body. Maybe wiggling the fingers or toes. You're ready. Beginning to make your way back up to a seated position. Rolling over to one side. Taking a couple of breaths there before coming up to seated. When you found your comfortable seated position, a deep inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together, resting in front of your heart, prayer seal. Taking just a couple of breaths to notice the benefits of this practice. Maybe setting an intention to carry this feeling of peace and calm with you throughout the rest of your day. Namaste.